Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J Dog.
Mike, we're back from summer hiatus. How was your break?
Yeah, we had summer break. It's just like school kids. Remember when you had summer break as a kid and then the summer went by so fast? That's what it feels like right now. I feel like I'm already in winter. Like winter's coming. Winter is almost here.
Winter is not coming. It's only the beginning of August. We have time. No, because I look forward to doing the podcast. I didn't look forward to school. Like August was a sign as a kid that bad things were happening because it was almost time to go back to school. And good things are happening for us. We have a big trip coming. We have exciting fall of the Delta variant. So big things are happening.
Lot of good stuff. All right. So a lot of news happened while we were gone. Obviously, the Olympics are on right now, but not only the Olympics. We had other sports. Do you want to talk? Russell Westbrook went to the Lakers. A lot of moves for the Lakers. They signed like a retirement team to the Lakers. Did you see all the ages of the players?
I didn't see the ages. How old are they? Do you have it?
God, where was it? It was like LeBron's 30 something. Everybody is over 30. There's like two players under 30 years old on the team currently. They signed Westbrook. They signed like all these guys over 30. Very old. So
maybe they're not going to play much during the regular season and just try to keep everyone fresh for the playoffs would be a wise move. So I know they got Russell Westbrook. That was one of the big moves of NBA free agency this week. Kind of weird. We're not used to this in like late July, early August of NBA free agency plus the NBA draft just happened. So there's a lot of moves the last week or so. And the Lakers to add Russell Westbrook are kind of like, that's not what they need. Like LeBron plays like point guard a lot of times. He brings the ball up. He's the scorer. But then you think, damn, LeBron is old, like you said. He's got all that playoff mileage on his ass. He's not playing for Team USA right now, and we've talked about that. Maybe he should be because they are losing games over in Tokyo. Yeah. So LeBron could use some help during the regular season, and I think Russell Westbrook could score some points for that team and really be a difference maker.
I like it. I think Westbrook brings like that energy. Like he's always like furious, like that little guy fury he's got in him. It's just an interesting move. I feel like the Lakers they always can bring big talent. Kawhi's out of LA. I think he's leaving. So it's just
so he opted out of his deal, and so did Chris Paul. But then like Chris Paul signed with the Suns right away. By the way, like 4 years, 120 million. Like he didn't play that well in the finals. He looked kind of old.
He is old.
I don't know about that.
But I feel like you got to just get a guy like he can help the team, right? Like he's there. He got injured. Yeah. Like all these old guys always get a little injured.
He helped Booker a lot too, which helps. And we can talk about the finals and recap that. But I think it's interesting. Kawhi could leave the Clippers. It seems like things for the Clippers aren't going like according to plan, right?
No, they always felt like that second tier team in LA, and now they are again. It's like, is Paul George going to stay? What are they going to do? Like they need to bring some kind of talent. So I don't know what's next. I mean, it's just it's Lakers City. Like it's all Lakers all the time. LeBron's still here, and probably another big super team. So we'll see what happens. I didn't really, I just thought it was interesting. You got to look up that stat. It's like some image. It's like all the ages and everybody's over 30. Older than
they must be friends of LeBron. Like LeBron doesn't have 22-year-old friends. Like we don't have 22-year-old friends. Like our friends are all old too. So if we assembled a team of people we're comfortable with, they're all 30 and 33 like we are. So that's what LeBron's doing, just on a much larger scale.
I like it. Good move for him.
I don't know if it's good during the regular season. They still have to get in the top 8 to make the playoffs.
What do you want? Do you want to talk some football? I got a lot of football stuff. Football's officially back. It's August.
Is it back? Can we just recap the finals? Giannis is an NBA finals champion. That was a great story. I know the playoffs weren't super interesting. I know we were lacking superstars. I know we had a lot of injuries. I know I was in Phoenix for the NBA playoffs and I was rooting for the Suns. But Giannis, he came back. That weird knee injury, if you remember, wasn't it the series before the Suns in the finals? His knee buckled. We thought he was out. And he comes back. They win 4 in a row. He wins the finals. He scores 50 points in the last game. And then my favorite part, Mike, he goes to Chick-fil-A drive-thru the day after, live on Instagram, and orders 50 nuggets because he just scored 50 points. That's a baller move.
It's kind of crazy because they feel like his mentality is so like childish. Like, oh, I won. Like, I can't believe it. Like he stayed there. I kind of like it because he's even, dissing like the super teams, like there was Brooklyn and all this stuff. So I feel like it's a good win. I just don't know if it would have happened otherwise if all these people didn't get hurt, right? Like luck fell into his lap. The Brooklyn got injured. Chris Paul got injured. Like all these different things happened. and it's good for him. It might be like this blip in history, but it always does seem like the super teams usually are on top if they can actually get a win. And maybe the shortened season caused a little more injury because they rushed back right away, but they did start on Christmas, which we always thought was a good time to start around Christmas.
That should be happening again, right?
I don't know. I don't know when it's happening. Probably
I mean,
September.
it's August.
Right?
They're not starting soon. They just finished, so they should.
Good. I like the new schedule. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. He doesn't seem like a normal champion. Like he's the face of that team, and he's just kind of goofy, silly, and it was great. It was really boring to watch, but it was good for him.
I don't think it was terrible to watch. I thought the Suns were very watchable. I think Devontae Booker is a great player, and he's playing well for Team USA now in the Olympics. You're right. I think you make a good point that we haven't seen many teams that are not super teams winning titles lately, especially in the NBA, but kind of across all sports. The Tampa Bucks are kind of a super team in a way with all the weapons that Brady's assembled, and the Lightning are a super team in a way that they went over the cap and they were able to have all these extra superstars on the team. So the Bucks are kind of a blip on that radar, and maybe it is short lived, but like your super team in Brooklyn, the Nets, they had nothing going for much of the year and they weren't that impressive. So I don't know if the East maybe doesn't have super teams to challenge Giannis.
Yeah, it's just weird. I think Brooklyn will be back. Everybody's coming back, so we'll see if they can actually step it up. But it seemed like just the injuries. Everybody always get injured towards the end, and that's why they want to rest during the season. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. All right, football's back. I've really been diving into it. Can I tell you, I've done extensive research. I have the Super Contest. We do it every year with our mutual friend. We've built out a great little platform to gamble on. I've started my fantasy research. I'm ready to go. And then it's kind of weird getting back into it. Like you got to remember, like all these movements, all these people moved on different teams. But the one thing I want to do is like Aaron Rodgers, he's back, he's playing. Don't know how he's gonna play. And then Carson Wentz, he's out. And this was kind of a bullshit to believe. Will Carson Wentz ever kind of get back to where he is? And that's it. It's like you see him go. He's on the Colts now. Is this something that's going to continue? Like he's always going to get injured? Like something, he's got a bone. How does a bone just fly around in your toe?
Yeah. And did that even happen in training camp, or was that already in his foot and then they discovered it because he was sore because he played for a few days? Kind of sketchy. Like anytime there's an injury now and they can't even trace it to right away, it's like, what have you been doing all off season? Because if you figured that out in March, you'd be feeling a lot better right now to help the Colts. The Colts are kind of having a rough training camp. Like they're losing all their guys.
Yeah. They're losing it
right
all
off the bat. I guess so. Bullshitter believed, to answer your question, he's injury prone until proven otherwise. Until the guy can come back and play like 12 weeks in a row and win some games, he can't be counted on at all. And their backup is a 6th-round pick, Jacob Eason. He's not very good either. No. You know, Phillip Rivers could be getting a phone call. And it's funny. I saw this. It was a real quote from Phillip Rivers. Maybe you had this in the rundown, but apparently he's open to coming back this season. And I guess the joke is that he's got 9 kids at home. So of course he wants to go back to work as soon as possible. He wants to get out.
Well, yeah, to bullshitter believe, like what team could we actually see him on this season? Like I had the Colts as number 1. There's Jets, Miami, Raiders. Where could he go to just give that team like? You don't think in Miami? Like
you had some weird ones on there. Like Miami, no. It's Tua or Deshaun Watson. Those are 1 and 1B, and those are the options for Miami. The Jets are rebuilding with Zach Wilson. They're not going to spend money and go all in when they know they don't have a good team yet. The Raiders, that's possible. Gruden seems to like Derek Carr. I don't get it. We've talked about that. I don't get why. Like Russell Wilson was an option there. They should still explore that. I think the Colts make the most sense. They just paid him $30 million for last year, and he was okay. So maybe they bring him back if Wentz is out for a while.
Yeah, he said he was like a little overweight. Like he's trying to get back the reps. You know, like
never stopped Big Ben.
No, he said he wouldn't make weight if he came to training camp right now. So that's how big he got off season. But I thought it was interesting because it's even Deshaun. Like, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Panthers are like saying they're keeping an eye on him. Maybe scoop him up over there.
I saw that.
Got a lot of like weird movements with quarterbacks, and it seems like why not? Rivers could go. Like if somebody said come back and play with us right now, I'm sure he could do it. He's decent. He's better than most.
He'll have to get into shape, and so maybe it's a situation like in baseball. Sometimes you add veterans, in the trade deadline with a month or 2 to go, right before the playoff run. So maybe Rivers has like, okay, now he starts getting in shape, and then he signs in October to start playing in November.
So I wanted to ask. All right, so I saw this thing. What did the Angels do? They drafted 20 pitchers in the first 20 picks of the MLB draft. What was this thing that I saw? What happened here?
They have outstanding offense. They have Mike Trout, one of the best players ever. He's, like, on a Babe Ruth level. They have Mike Trout, one of the best players ever. He's, like, on a Babe Ruth level. They have Shohei Ohtani, who's also on a Babe Ruth level. He pitches and hits, but he hits 5 days a week. He pitches 1 day a week. So they've always needed more pitching. And this has always been the problem, where they have good offense and pitching is similar to defense, where they have bad defense. And so in the NFL, we saw it recently. The Carolina Panthers had a draft, not this one, but the year before. They drafted all defensive players because their offense was okay with McCaffrey and some other guys. Yeah. Their defense was a joke. So sometimes you just go attack, and I like it. Like, why have an off season where you do a little bit of everything and, like, you work on one part of your house, but then the other a little bit, and nothing really gets brought up in value? What if you just go down to the kitchen, blow up the kitchen, and make the kitchen the best kitchen in the world, and then move on to something else after?
Well, I liked it because Adam Schefter tweeted this, and he said, would it be interesting if an NFL team did this and just drafted quarterbacks for the first, like, 5 rounds of the NFL draft? And maybe if they had, like, 3 first-round picks, you just get 3 first-round quarterbacks and have them duke it out and then trade somebody away. I think it'd work.
Recently, the Browns had the 1st and 4th overall picks in the draft. I think it was the year they took Baker Mayfield 1st overall, and they took the corner from Ohio State 4th. They could have taken 2 quarterbacks there and have someone compete with Baker, and maybe it was Josh Allen, right? So maybe Josh Allen and Baker are competing, and Josh Allen's your guy, and you trade Baker. Or maybe you love Baker, and you can trade Josh Allen for 3 first-round picks. Like, they are worth more, so it does make sense to do that.
But you also, I guess, in NFL, you have to pay the salary, right? So if you're first round, you get, like, a guaranteed contract and whatever. It kind of goes down.
Yeah, but if you know they're going to battle and you're going to trade one right away, then I think it's okay. I like that idea.
Another one, bullshit or believe. Will Tim Tebow be the tight end? Will he be like the Gronk of the Jags this year, playing with our new boy over there? What's his name? Why can't I
remember?
Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to be the new Gronk? He's jacked right now. I don't know if you saw photos of him playing
right now. He's been jacked for a long time.
He is really, really jacked. He's a big boy.
You're talking about Tebow, right? Not Lawrence.
Yeah, not Lawrence. Tebow.
Yeah, he's bigger than Lawrence. Tebow, he's not going to be a Gronk. He's not going to catch a lot of balls. I think he's there for, like, leadership and, like, to instill Urban Meyer's, like, philosophy with the rest of the team. I think in general, Tebow won't catch many passes. He will catch a touchdown or 2, maybe, like, some goal line plays, some special teams. Don't draft him in fantasy, or if I'm in a league with you, please do.
I might draft him. I might just scoop him up. Dollar player.
Isn't he old? Isn't he also like 35 like us?
He's old. Yeah. I mean, didn't he graduate college the same year we did?
Yeah. I mean, that's not easy either, as we know.
He's an old man.
Jeez.
All right.
You mentioned Deshaun Watson back to that division. So what's up with the Texans? He's playing some safety. That's a weird one. That's so he doesn't get hurt playing quarterback. I feel like if he gets hurt, Deshaun Watson was playing some safety in training camp.
Why? What are you? What?
I guess like he was wearing it like they didn't want him to drop back and pass and get a pass rush on him, so they had him like playing safety and like not like really like running around and making plays, but kind of like hanging out in the backfield there and like swatting balls. I don't know exactly why. That's what I was asking about.
I have no idea. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. It seems like legally, like he's still good, but there's like a weird. Like, did you watch that video? There's a video of a girl describing what he wanted in the massage room. And he kept like asking her to like go inside his butt cheeks and massage inside his butt cheeks. So I don't know like what's going on or like, I don't know. I always feel like if you're an NFL player, do you not have like people on staff that can like help you relieve your tension in your body during the season or maybe even the off season? You have a whole facility, millions of dollars go into it, but instead you're going to like these weird massage parlors that you're asking random people to like massage really close to your butthole or something. I don't know what was going on. There was one, I don't know if you saw the video. It was on, I think like Therese Owen, he had a video on his like Instagram and I watched it. I'm like, this is kind of weird. It sounds weird. It sounds very believable. So what's happening? And Deshaun is also saying like he doesn't want to pay anybody off. He wants it all public. So I don't know who to believe. He wants to like do it in public. Like I'm not settling for some reason. So I don't know what's happening.
Wow, you threw a lot out there. I'm not sure where to go with that.
Just go. If you like your cheeks massage, it's okay.
I think the idea of not settling like privately and like getting everything out there would seem to indicate if he can get through that, whatever that looks like unscathed, then maybe he can continue to play because we know it's often it looks like guilt. Even if it's not guilt, it looks like you're admitting guilt if you do some kind of private payment like guys like Brett Favre and many others have in the past to pay people off to keep the legal trouble away. Yeah. You're right that NFL players have the best resources for massaging and injury relief and all that stuff. And he's a star quarterback. So he's obviously asking for something that is not included in that. And that's what makes it very sketchy that he's going outside of the team and going above and beyond for whatever he needs. And there's a lot of women out there. And so they do need to be heard, and we need to hear their side before we can make a real judgment. But it sounds like he's there and he's going to play for the Texans this year, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing. I don't know. Like, for other things that have happened in the NFL, it seems like they're much more strict, but this one seems like some weird, vague grayness around it. Like, no one really knows what's going on, and I feel like we don't really know what's going on, so that's why he's playing. But ultimately, like, the NFL has to decide something. So if he's at training camp, is he going to play? Like, he doesn't even want to be there, right? He wants to get traded.
Yeah. Weird all the way around.
So
all I know is I have him on my fantasy keeper league team, and I don't know, like, is he my quarterback? Do I need to draft one? Obviously, it's all about me. So
I'll trade you Tua for him if you want. I got Tua.
That's a short-term view if I just sell him now. I mean, he's got a lot of good years left.
Hey, I don't need to whatever you want to do. Whatever you could trade him.
It's like $6.
He's $6. I don't want him.
He's so cheap. Quarterbacks are cheap, you know.
Yeah. All right, you got to Scandal City. There's there's one I really want to talk about, then one that I'm disappointed that DeAndre Hopkins tweeted this. He says he never thought he'd say this, but he's going to put in position to hurt his team because he doesn't want to take the vaccine. And I know everybody's talking about the vaccine, doing all this stuff, but it just bothers me when you're getting paid millions of dollars and your team, probably most people are vaccinated and you're unwilling to get vaccinated. And I get it. If you're religious or something, which I still don't really believe, but if you're religious and don't want to get it, you have some underlying condition, sure. But I feel like most people should get it. If you're getting paid, I don't know, $20 million a year, why not get the vaccine so you can continue playing? Because your team is going to take a forfeit if you give everybody COVID.
That's the big point here is the NFL just announced that we're not like delaying games and having Wednesday afternoon games and we're not hurting our bottom line because you guys won't get the vaccine because it's out there. So teams will forfeit if there's a COVID outbreak and they can't go play. And I don't know the specifics of how many players it is. Right now in baseball, you know, there's individuals who are getting COVID, maybe 2 or 3 at a time. The Yankees had an outbreak recently. They canceled the game, but the next day they're right back out there. Whereas last year, you know, teams would take 10 or 14 days off when it was kind of a more scary thing and we didn't know all the ramifications. So sports are continuing. We know the vaccine is having a lot of breakthroughs. So we know COVID is still possible if you get the vaccine, which is another interesting wrinkle. If like a team who's super vaccinated has an outbreak, like that sucks for them. So I guess you still forfeit. That just sucks. And maybe someone was irresponsible making out with some hookers or something to make that happen. You just don't know. All of that being said, one of my good friends also is not taking the vaccine. His name's Bryson DeChambeau. He's a U.S. Open champ in golf. And he said, I'm really disappointed in him, but he said basically he's young and healthy and he wants to save the vaccine for other people. And it's just such a misguided thing because the vaccine is so readily available. It's so vaccine, out there. Yeah. And by the way, Bryson, he said that because on his way to Tokyo for the Olympics, he tested positive for COVID and he wasn't able to go. So that's why he's now talking about it. But that's just a terrible take on it. Like so many takes. Yeah. And if that's a reason for you not to get it, I would say don't let that be the reason and still go ahead because there's plenty of vaccines for everyone in America who wants them at least.
It's just weird. I think when you're a professional in sports, now I get it. If you're like in the Midwest or maybe you live in Florida, like no one in Florida wants it. It's going crazy out there right now.
Oh my. I don't leave the house.
It's like if you are a professional, you should get it. And now I know a lot of people are mandating things like we're going out to Paris and Paris says get vaccinated or have a proof of no COVID in the last whatever day. So it's kind of coming like a weird world right now, like vaccine passes and all this stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what to do, but
it's a weird world. Speaking of all of this, can we do a J-Dog Takes On?
Let's do it. J-Dog Takes On. I don't know. The soundboard's back here. I don't know if you can see it.
It's back there somewhere. I can't see it. The listeners can't see it either. I was in line at CVS for my normal prescription this week, and a man who
what prescription? Can we talk about what kind of drugs you're taking? Or
my allergy? It's actually just allergies, nothing exciting. I have terrible allergies, Mike. You know this? I think we talked about it.
No, I didn't know.
I take allergy medicine every night. I have to.
For what? Like
For
what allergies?
I would like sneeze. I would sneeze. It's like hay and all the normal pollen bullshit. And so I would
Because you're
like
not
sneeze and
eating, you
I get
only eat
so
chicken tenders
congested.
and candy all the time. That's why. That's
That's
your diet.
true, but that's not why I have allergies. Those two things can both be true. So anyway, I'm in line at CVS, and this
Okay.
guy is in line, and he goes up and he goes, "I want the COVID vaccine," and that's where you get it, CVS. And they go, "Sir, that's not possible today, not on the weekends." And the guy's like, "Wait, my daughter was just here." And the guy goes, "Only 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Can you come and get a vaccine?" And I got so upset because this man was there on a weekend, probably
Yeah,
works a 9 to 5 job, probably can't
probably.
take off. He wants the vaccine. Joe Biden is wanting everyone to have the vaccine. We all want everyone to have the
Yeah,
vaccine. COVID takes no days off. The Delta variant takes no days off.
it's
Yet
out
if the
there.
pharmacist isn't there, come back Monday? What? That's not what we should be doing. This is still a crisis. This is still an emergency. We have all these people who are unvaccinated. We need vaccines in arms, and CVS is now doing it 9 to 5. I didn't like it, and I'm taking you on, CVS.
How worried are you? Because I haven't listened back to our shows when the pandemic started. It'd be really interesting to listen back to when we're talking about it. But how worried are you that this winter is gonna explode again? Like we're gonna go on a mini lockdown. Like I was planning, like, oh, maybe I'll go to Denver, maybe go ski this year, go to, Thanksgiving, go back to Florida. And I'm like, should I not be booking these? Like, is it going wild? I don't know what I'm like worried for the next 6 months, not the next month, obviously. Because
The only reason that would happen is because of unvaccinated people, which is
half
awful,
the
but
country.
possible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, 30. No, we hit 70% have had one shot, so that's great. 70%
Yeah.
of Americans have had one shot, which is bigger than it was. And I think this latest Delta variant is making some of those people who were on the fence finally go to get it. But you're right, that's very concerning, and we know we wouldn't be in that situation if people just got vaccinated and we were at 90 or 95%, because the virus doesn't transmit as well. I think we're all experts at this point, but I think you can transfer it if you're vaccinated, but it's much less of a chance as versus unvaccinated. Yeah, it's a concern. I've been homeless for 16 months. I've been traveling the country out of a suitcase. I was all set to start a new life somewhere.
I know.
And now Delta variants got me looking at Airbnbs again. So I don't know.
So what are you moving in September? Or are you still going homeless? What are you doing if you want to tell
I think
the
we're
world?
still homeless. I think we were going to go to New York, and New York isn't looking so likely now. Yeah.
You going to come out to LA for a few months?
I might do like 3 months, maybe a short-term rental. Try it out.
Yeah. I like that. All right. I have one more.
Maybe on your street.
Oh, I don't know about that. I have another bullshitter belief. All right. So this one I really loved. Evander Kane, NHL player. He's being just to let you know.
I saw this.
Investigated for betting on his games. He's a San Jose Shark. He bets on his own games, allegedly. So there's an Instagram account appearing to be Kane's wife, Anna. She posted a story. How does the NHL let compulsive gambling addicts still play when he's obviously throwing games to win more money? Maybe somebody needs to address this. Then she added, can somebody ask Commissioner Gary Bettman how they let players gamble on his own game? Bet and win with bookies on his own games? So I didn't know this was a thing. Then even more history came out. Kane's gambling history and finances have been public knowledge for some time. A Las Vegas strip casino sued Kane in 2019 because he failed to repay $500,000 gambling debt racked up during a playoff series against the Golden Knights. So everything points to him obviously maybe doing this. Don't know why his wife is throwing him under the bus, calling him a compulsive gambler for just...
Yeah. So first of all, current wife or ex-wife?
Yes. Divorce her.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? And how do you stop something like... Because I don't think he's the only one. That's the thing. If I was playing professionally, I would definitely tell you, hey, Jeremy, tonight we are all on fire. We're pumped up. We're going to play as hard as we're going to try to win this game. I don't know if I would bet on myself, but I don't see how you wouldn't want to if it's so easy when I can pull my phone out, go on whatever sports book you want. If you're in Vegas, you can gamble on your phone legally. If you're in Denver and these other states, you can gamble legally. How is this not happening more? Now, on the phones, I think your minimum bet is anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000. So you're not winning tons of money. But for NHL players, that might be a lot of money because NHL players, like some of their salaries are like 200 to 300, maybe $500,000 for a year contract. So they're not getting paid a lot. But if they know they can throw a game, why not do it?
I have a few questions. One
Go.
is the way she's talking about it, or the way she made this post, and obviously
Yes.
she's not of the right mind. Whether she was the wife or the ex-wife, she would not be doing
Hopefully
this if
ex-wife
she was
now.
thinking clearly. The way she said it was like, "Why is this allowed to happen?" But like, how would you know this is happening? I think that goes to your point. Like, how would you know these NHL players are doing it with private bookies? How, like, it's not public knowledge. It's not being posted on Bet Online. Like, here's what the player bet on today. Like, you wouldn't know.
But I think, don't you think you kind of would know after a while? Like, wouldn't you tell your friends? Like, if you were working for a company and you're like, I'm shorting the stock, is that like inside trading? Do you know enough about this team? Like, oh, my 5 guys have injuries. We're probably going to lose tonight. I'm going to put, $1 million on the game. That might raise some flags.
Yes, but that's my question is how much can one NHL player dictate the outcome of a game? And I don't know if he's a big star or not, but is he actually out there dictating the result? Or I mean, injuries are known, coaching changes and things like that are known. We know they played back to back and they got in at 4 a.m. So there's certain variables that you know about, but how much can he affect a win or a loss on his own?
But do you think it's similar to like when the referee was doing it in the 90s? He was getting paid off to throw some games with certain calls. Forgot his name, but I think it could
Tim
be the
Donaghy.
same.
But I would say a ref, an NBA ref, has much more. He affects the outcome of the game much more than one NHL player, right?
Yeah, but if you're playing in hockey and you can let somebody go by and maybe they get an opportunity that might not have because you're not checking as hard or doing something as hard, you could give them a slight edge for an opportunity. And I think it's the same thing in NFL. If you're an offensive line, if you're a blocker blocking a run, and you're like, fuck this, we need to lose this game. I'm going to let all these guys run by. I think you could affect the game so slightly that it could get swayed into a direction that you could confidently bet on the game. I mean,
yeah, just thinking about it as you say that, though, I think NFL you can, because you can make one mistake as an NFL player and open up to a touchdown. Whether you miss your block on purpose and you allow the sack to happen, or you're a corner or safety and you allow the guy to run by you. I feel like you can always, like, one person can directly affect the outcome. Unlike, I guess NBA is a little different because it's 5 guys, but unlike a baseball hitter who, like, he can go hit 3 home runs, you might still lose the game. He can strike out on purpose, you might still win the game. Like, so I don't think that can affect it. Now, Pete Rose was betting on baseball as a manager. That's different because he's making in-game decisions. So again, coaches and referees might have more impact than a player too.
So do you think this is something, because I'm not really sure how say you're in Vegas, you're playing the Golden Knights, you're on whatever team, you're playing the Golden Knights. You can bet in casino with your phone. Now, they might have some of your info, they might have something, but if you have a bookie, just call your bookie up, be like, I need to put, 10 grand on this game. I don't know how you can stop it, because now it is everywhere. It's like DraftKings is everywhere. It's like, how are NFL players not trying to boost up their stats? Because even some of the NFL players, like, didn't Leonard Fournette for a while, like, didn't he have his own like fantasy show talking about that? Or what was the guy before Leonard Fournette in Jacksonville?
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yes, he does a little fantasy show. Yeah. So I just feel like these guys know it's there. They're present. They understand it. Why not gamble on it? Like, that's my question. It's a weird line to draw. It's like, you can't do this. Don't do this. But who's going to stop me if I'm actually?
How would you know? Yeah. And I don't know how to regulate that or to be more mindful of it, other than instructing really harsh penalties. Like, if this is true and they do an investigation, I mean, do you get kicked out of the league? I think that's what you do. You're out forever. You're blackballed from the league.
Well, yeah,
it's that bad.
But is it on whose fault is it? Is it the league's fault for not implementing a rule, or is it the gambling?
I think there is rules around it. I'm sure they have rules around it. I don't think it's the league's fault, because you wouldn't know. How would you know? You're not monitoring the guy's browser history, and you shouldn't have to monitor everyone's browser history on all their devices. Like, that's too much porn would pop up. It's not worth it to them.
I guess it's just, I don't know if there's a rule, so I'll look it up.
You're looking for someone to blame, Mike, and I don't know who to blame. So I'm
not looking for somebody to blame. I'm just seeing what could you do and how could you slow this down? Because I bet this is more prominent in the NHL, and the NFL, the NBA than we even think. Because there are guys on teams, like, I'm sure you can't name all 53 guys on the Miami Dolphins, right? That 53rd guy, that backup offensive line guy, might be sitting there, hey, we're playing the Golden Knights, not the Golden Knights, fucking the Raiders, and I'm going to bet on this game. Who's going to stop me? Who's going to slow this down? I know what we're doing. I know our game plan. I'm confident in it. So
I'm sure that happens in every sport. You're right. And I don't know a solution to it. Unless you fully regulated gambling and you like went through each league to place a bet, is that the future where all the leagues get together and say, you're not going to do bet online or all these bullshit places. You're going to bet on NHL.com and you have to place a bet and register on NHL.com. And maybe that's the way to legalize betting. We don't know where it's going, but we know legalized gambling is coming. So maybe that's a way to do it.
I think it's
maybe I just figured it out. There you go.
I think maybe you figured it out. Who knows? That's all I got.
Oh, this guy just signed up on NHL.com. He's also on this team.
He's an NHL player. He can't do that. Yeah,
easy.
I love it. I think I remember years ago when we started the podcast, gambling was like a thing, but it wasn't as big as it is now. Like now, everybody knows, like DraftKings, all that stuff. They know how to gamble occasionally. Like they know how to put like bets on things.
Yeah.
And I think it's changed a lot.
My DraftKings stock, speaking of shorting stocks, I could use a little bump there. I don't know what the deal is with that stock lately.
Okay. Well, a lot of issues over there in the gambling world. It's a lot of,
We'll leave it there.
That's it. Go to sportshangover.com. We still got all the summer swag up. We got tanks up there. We even have a bachelor party shirt from my bachelor party. It's up there if you guys want to get it. Micah Palooza, it's for sale.
That was a big hit. I don't know. We've done many shows since then. We were kind of dead for a while. Those shirts were a big hit. The town loved them. The whole town knew who we were.
The whole town loved them. That small town we were in, they really loved them. So they're up there if you want.
And we're going to Paris, California soon enough.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So go to sportshangover.com. Follow us on Instagram at Sports Hangover Podcast. And if we can rest some list reviews, hopefully we are back next week.